Good morning from Las Vegas and the Travel Goods Show. I'm Mary Jo Manzanares from Traveling with MJ. I'm a travel writer and content creator, and I've been here at the show meeting and learning about the backstory of so many great products and founders. It's a pleasure this morning and a privilege to interview Tony Hendricks from Kytin, a San Francisco-based company. And we'll be talking a little bit about his company, but first, welcome. How are you?
Thank you for having me. Doing well. The show's been great. This is our first travel goods show. Meeting a lot of people. It's been really good.
Well, as I have with everyone here at the show, let's talk travel.
Awesome.
And I know you travel a lot for business because
Yes.
I'm sure you do a lot of trade shows and a lot of other business. But where was the last leisure trip you took? Vacation?
I was in Milan last September. It was business and pleasure.
That counts.
So that sort of counts. Love the city, industrial, beautiful architecture. I wanted to go to Rome. We didn't get a chance to go to Rome, so maybe on the next trip. And right now we're planning a trip to Hawaii. My wife's brother and his family are in Hawaii, and they're trying to get us back over there. It's been a couple of years since we've been. So I've been to Maui, Honolulu. Now I want to go to Kauai. Haven't been there yet, so I want to go backpacking in Kauai.
So what kind of a traveler are you? Are you a plan every day to the max, or are you just show up and go with the flow?
I try to plan a little bit, but it usually doesn't work out like that. Like you're like, oh, I have this time, I'm going to do this, but then the day of, the night before, it's like, oh, where's this, where's that? Let me make sure I have everything. Especially when you're doing the business and you also have your personal, you're trying to balance the two.
Well, and you're going to be balancing a third type of travel coming up here. Tony is soon to be a new father, and when I mean soon, I'm probably talking hours. So he'll be leaving the show and meeting his wife at the hospital. How is that going to change life?
Ooh, my wife and I are very excited. She wasn't due for about 3 more weeks. I found out yesterday they wanted to monitor her. Blood pressure went up a little bit. And they said, oh, okay, maybe sooner. We'll monitor her. She called me this morning and said, oh, I'm going to go in. So now it's like, okay, the show's finishing, which is great. But immediately I got to go into dad mode. Still got to finish building my son's room. But it's a great time. And the business is growing. The baby's growing. We're ready.
Exciting times.
Yes.
Well, while we're speaking about growing, let's talk about your business, because that's been your baby for a while. How did you transition from travel and travel lover into travel business?
Oh, so the story about the business is I worked in corporate. I worked in innovation, footwear, and also in lower limb biomechanics. I would make orthotics, and came up with this idea one Saturday is that we all have foot pain, and I wanted to come up with a product that wasn't an orthotic and something that you didn't have to wear shoes in. So I started testing socks and adding support, and I was like, well, these would be great for travel because we all go to the airport, we all take shoes, but they're all bulky and they're heavy, and you have to take them off. So originally we were thinking this would help athletes recover. And then as we started to develop it more, I realized that we're all athletes. So if you go to work, if you're a heavy traveler, we're all on our feet pounding the pavement every day. So I thought it was a product that we didn't have in our closets that we always wanted to have. So it's sort of a hybrid in between a compression sock and a shoe with some orthotic properties.
Well, I spent 33 years as a flight attendant on my feet, and that was back when we wore heels to work in. And I can tell you, taking those shoes off, something to put on that was more comfortable would have been a lifesaver. Now, here at the show, I tried explaining your product to people, and I just didn't do a really good job of it. And I kept hearing the word recovery, and that just didn't resonate me, because then I think of, well, not in the hospital, I'm not really recovering from anything. And then I thought about, it's just really about recovering from a long day, a long trip, a long everything. So in a real quick, how do I mean, because when I get home, I can't tell people, oh, just go to their booth. They're really nice. Like, that's not going to work anymore. Yeah. How do I explain quickly your product?
I would say one way to describe it, I would say these are the most comfortable, supportive, go anywhere socks you've ever worn. That's a simple way to put it. They're designed to hug your foot's curves and support you, so you don't have to work as hard. There's dynamic arch support built in, so it moves with your foot. And there's 2-layer compression at the top, which helps stimulate circulation. So they're wonderful dashing through the airport. Then when you get on the plane, you get in your seat, that compression helps to prevent some of the swelling, stimulate circulation, and they're super lightweight. So once you put them on, you forget you have them on.
Well, we're looking at the product here, but you said you come from a design background.
Yes.
What was the process from, hey, I should do this, to I am doing it? I'm sure that was didn't happen overnight.
Yeah, there was several rounds. If you saw the very early prototypes, you'd be like, what is that? And then we had to get the manufacturer to understand we weren't trying to make a shoe. So some of the early samples were just not what we were thinking. And each step of the way, we just solved problems. We did our research, we did our patent research to see was there something else like this in the market. And the concept was to provide invisible support. So as we discovered different things, what would work, what would not work, we eventually came to this product that we thought was a really great balance between a compression sock, an insole or an orthotic, and a shoe bottom.
And they're cute.
Thank you.
Maybe for a guy word, that's not the appropriate.
Yeah.
But I still like to look good when I travel, and they come in a variety of styles and
That's
colors.
right. Yeah, we have.
Let's see what you've got here.
Women tend to be a little bit more adventurous than men.
Yes, they can.
This is our sunset yellow. It's a really nice color. We have several colors for both men and women, and we now have them in 3 different heights.
And different fabrics.
Different fabrics. So this is our nylon. It's probably our lightest material. They're both antimicrobial and antibacterial. This is our merino wool, which I think is the perfect recovery product. Merino is naturally temperature regulating, so your foot doesn't get too hot, and it's also antibacterial.
I love merino wool. I'm wearing merino wool products
nice.
here too, so very nice. But we're walking around airports or planes or whatever. How are these going to hold up? How are they going to get cleaned up?
Well, when it's time to wash them, they come with these neat little mesh bags. You can toss them in there and just put them in the wash.
Really?
Yes, very easy to just toss in there. You take them out.
So that acts like almost like a lingerie type of...
Yeah, like a little bit of extra protection. And we always say keep them away from the dryer because everybody knows the dryer damages your clothes.
Everything.
Yes.
And then, so if we're not putting them in the dryer, how long is it going to take to wash out?
Maybe overnight, maybe a few hours. I would say this material is a little bit quicker drying than the merino. Sure. But most people, when they get a pair, they always have to have a second pair because you're thinking, I don't want to wear these outside. So I need an inside pair, outside pair, or a travel pair. They're just really great. And once you have one pair, I have several pair at home. My wife, that's all we wear at home.
Well, it makes sense to me because I travel a lot. And for example, I'm going to be home just a couple of days and I'm off again. And then I'm home a couple of days and off again. So that, you're right, having 2 pair, you throw one, you don't have to worry about doing laundry, and then put them back in. And the bag could be used when you're traveling.
That's right.
To put them in after you've worn them and you don't want them to
Exactly. You don't want them to touch your clothes. You pop them in there. It's a way to protect them. And then if there are any germs from walking on those airport floors, they're not touching your other stuff.
Right.
So yeah, they're good for that.
That's smart because it's solving a problem that we have, as well as we have to take our shoes off and going through security, and yet you don't want to have your bare feet on the floor.
As we see some people, they have to do, especially in the summertime. You see people walking through barefoot.
Sure.
And if you've done any research, they found all types of debris, dirt, even in the bins. They found fecal matter. And they just put all our bags in there, but it's also the same thing that people put their shoes in. And we have no choice when we get to the line. It's like, oh, I have to put my nice bag into this thing.
Yeah. It's like, la, 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 la.
But at least you don't have to walk on the floor,
Right. Yes, and I can tell you from working on a plane that water on the floor is not water. Wear something in there.
Very cool.
So in terms of, do you have like a bestseller, or in terms of is it the merino? Is it the lighter weight? What's the one most people ordered for their first?
So a lot of people our most popular style is the parasol.
The parasol.
Under the ankle. They're very easy to slip on. And both the nylon version and the merino version sell really well. I would say, it's hard. I would say this is our biggest seller.
Okay.
A little bit bigger seller. I think also because these have a slightly higher price point. So maybe they just go for that one for their first one, and then they come back and get the merino later.
Sure, it's an easier entry point,
That's
and then
right.
they love it. So while we're talking about price points, let's talk about what kind of an investment these are.
Okay, so they're between $50 and $59, depending on which style and material. Not too expensive, very close to impulse buy, and you get instant gratification when you put them on. So a lot of product you don't get there,
Oh, and we are all about the instant gratification. Let's be honest. Well, I live in a house with hardwood floors, and I tend to go barefoot, which I know it's not always the best choice
especially as we get older.
Yeah, from a physical standpoint. But I don't want to wear shoes in the house, and those big, fluffy, comfortable socks just slide, and
Yes.
I just
goodness.
have nightmares about sliding down a couple flights of stairs. So these seem like a good alternative, even just for casual home use.
Yes. It's so interesting that you mentioned that, because when I was developing these, I actually slipped down the stairs in a pair of socks. And I went down, 3-4 steps, and bam, and
ouch.
and it's a real problem if you have just regular socks on. But even bigger than that, pounding on the wood, pounding on the concrete does a lot to our feet. And biomechanically, everything's connected. So as we get a little bit more smarter and mature, we get things like plantar fasciitis, we get neuropathy, and these happen to be very good for those common foot ailments. They're really great. This is pretty much all my wife and I wear at home. When I get home, these shoes go off, and I put these on. I probably keep one at the back door, one at the front door, depending on where I'm going.
Sure. Well, and the reality is, as we age, falling becomes an issue. I mean, there are a variety of reasons, but when you look at falls among the aging population, it's an issue. So barefoot, I know, and socks are not the best choice. So I'm going to have to give this some thought. Tell me how you came up with the name of Kytin.
So originally we were called Parasol. And when we went to do our trademarks, they denied us. They were saying that, there's another company, maybe they make socks. The name was a different name, but it was close. So we had to come up with something else. Interestingly enough, my wife is a biochemist. And as we're exploring names and whatnot, Kytin came out. So the phonetic spelling of Kytin is spelled Chitin, which is an exoskeleton of anthropods and insects. So we see parasol as an extension of your foot, an exoskeleton. So it protects, it supports. So we were able to get that trademarked. And then later, we were able to get parasol also trademarked in the medical category for compression socks and devices. So it just really worked out.
That makes sense. It's such a natural, it seems so obvious
Yes.
after the fact, of course.
Yes.
So, you have a website, Kytin.com. Are you direct to consumer? Are you in retail locations? Where can someone find your products?
Okay, so we're direct to consumer. We have some distribution. We are opening up to more distribution. We have a lot of opportunities coming to us now. People like the product. Initially, we sort of were direct to consumer, but we also had our design and utility patents pending. So they gave us a little bit of pause. But now we're really growing. It's a big opportunity for us. This show has been great for us. We've met a lot of potential distributors. We met some retailers. It's all parts of the industry. So we're super excited to take the next steps and continue our growth.
Well, that is exciting. And what were your goals for attending the show? And did you reach them here?
We definitely we came in hoping. This is our first travel show. we didn't know exactly what to expect, but our goals was to come in and meet people, to network, find some potential new accounts, some partners. And I think we checked all those boxes. Like and we met a lot of great people. The feedback on the product has been overwhelming. Like people really enjoy it. We at our booth, we have a setup there where people can come in and try them on. We've given away a few pairs, and I've had people come back to me the next day. Oh, we love these. I'm just walking around and people are asking me. One lady said, I got into bed and I still had them on last night. So it's been great. Yeah, we've enjoyed the show. We'll definitely be back. Super good time.
It's been exciting for me to meet various people here at the show who are in different stages of their journey in entrepreneurship and travel goods production. So it was a pleasure meeting with you. I spent some time at your booth talking to your folks. They answered all my questions. Very, very enjoyable talking to them. I've sent a lot of people down that way because I think it's a great product. I was thrilled when they asked me to interview you, because it's always nice when you get to really know someone, like them, and trust them, and love their product as well. Any other things we should know about Kytin?
Well, I would just say thank you so much for taking the time to, talk to me and learn a little bit more. I would say for the future, expect some big things. We see ourselves growing into a recovery company, and our product is sustainable. It's super lightweight. We think it's something that everyone needs to have in their closet. So we really want to get it out there. We want more people to try it out. It's really about helping people be more active, helping us to be healthier, and also doing it sustainably. We didn't want to solve a problem by creating another problem. So that was also very important to us, and I wanted to make sure I mentioned that.
Well, it was a great pleasure meeting you. I appreciate your time.
Thank you so much.
And we'll talk soon, and we'll see you at the travel show again next year.
Will do. Thank you so much.